may the odds be ever in your favor. Bitch, please. I actually watched Hunger Games with a bunch of people, and when I got there at the movie theater, I found out that I was the only one out of the entire group that hadn't read the books. So it was a little bit like showing up to school without doing your homework. The thing about Hunger Games is that as a female, it was great to have a story centered around a heroine that is competent, she is confident, she's strong, she is assertive. I have no problem believing that Katniss is a warrior, she can handle herself, she doesn't need anybody to save her. But at the same time, she does have a feminine side, but it's the right kind of femininity. It's not based on daintiness or being girly or being overly dramatic. It's about compassion and caring and having empathy. As a general movie fan, it's great to have a main character in a so-called action movie, a blockbuster type of movie, that is not over the top. Because a lot of these movies fall into this trap of trying to make the main character larger than life and exaggerating everything about him or her, including their personalities. But Katniss is really the keep your mouth shut, keep your head down, and do whatever you need to do kind of character. And there's an understated coolness about that. So for me, watching The Hunger Games was an enjoyable experience because I really liked the main character in it, but the universe itself was not all that inviting. This movie did not make me want to read the books because I do not care to revisit this world again. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that the movie is told from Katniss's perspective, and a lot of the things that could have made this society, this future post-apocalyptic society, more interesting is not shown because Katniss was not privy to it. Now, most of the action takes place in two places. In the first half, it's Katniss's home district, District 12, which is kind of like this hippie commune. And then we move to the capital, where I hated everything about the capital and everything about those aristofarts that are all dressed like they're on their way to a Lady Gaga audition. And on the one hand, I can understand that there needs to be a contrast between the districts where everything is earthy and natural and warm and inviting, and the capital where everything is bright and in your face and dissonant and just superficial. But at the same time, there's such a big contrast between how the movie starts in nature, and then we move to this place that is just not some place I ever want to return to. But ironically enough, even though I hated the capital, I liked all the behind the scenes stuff, like how the game is managed, the idea of sponsorships, how the producers of the games, the so-called producers of the game, manipulate the players and the scenarios. Also, something that should be mentioned is that I hear a lot of reviewers or descriptions saying that the Hunger Games take place in the wilderness or in the woods. No, this is a virtual environment where the arena where the games take place is a virtual habitat. You know, it's like a cheaper version of the holodeck. So from that point of view, Hunger Games is not so much Battle Royale as it is The Truman Show meets a bad episode of Survivor. Games themselves, I see a lot of people having a problem with the pacing because there are bits and pieces of really intense hardcore action and then a lot of like hiding and hanging around. But personally, I think this is a pretty realistic rendition because in a scenario like that, you know, you'll always have people that are not interested in risking their lives and they would just rather wait it out. And Katniss is one of those people, and I'm sure there are other players like that. The problem I have with the Hunger Games as a competition is the 12 to 18 limitation. So basically the players have to be between the ages of 12 and 18. This is a perfect example of a plot device that serves only to designate the target audience of the story, not to raise the quality of the story. Everybody in this game that serves as an adversary to Katniss is a fucking idiot. The problem with these teenagers is that while they can be extremely vicious and violent, and I wouldn't want to meet them in a dark alleyway, especially that girl with the knives, they're not smart. They don't have any kind of strategic thinking. There is nobody on the team of evil tributes that can stand as a competent match for Katniss. She's the only one that has any kind of tactical reasoning, and the things that the tributes do come up with are childish. The things that they don't come up with and should is just basic common sense. And this takes a lot of the tension out of the Hunger Games. So all in all, Hunger Games, it was so refreshing to have a character like Katniss hold the movie, hold it well. I think the pacing was perfect. Maybe a little too much shaky cam in the beginning to sell that idea of cinema verite when they're in District 12. But overall, I had some problems with it. I don't want to read the books. Honestly, I don't really care about this Pan Am country, whatever it is. But I will definitely finish the series of movies just to see where how Katniss develops as a character.